Good morning, Anne.
Good morning, James.
And good morning, everybody. Hopefully you are all having a great weekend or a great week whenever it is that you are listening. Here we are again, Sunday morning.
Again.
It only seems like yesterday we were sat in Scarborough recording our live episode.
Listening to the seagulls.
Listening to the seagulls. A few people did mention that.
Yeah.
Yes, a real authentic experience with the seagulls.
So at least people knew we weren't telling lies.
Absolutely not, no. And if you haven't seen them already, there are some pictures on our social media platforms on Facebook and Instagram if you want to have a little look behind the scenes. Okay.
Right.
Are you happy to begin, Anne?
I am, yes.
Fantastic. Where would you like to start this morning?
Really, it's a mixture this morning that I've got on my mind.
Right, okay.
I was listening to the radio in the car because I do like radio.
Right.
And I was going shopping, I think, and Vernon Kay was on.
Right, okay.
Asking questions of people, and people were ringing in. The topic was
Right.
the limit of the 50,000 before you go on to the 40% tax.
Okay, right, okay, that's interesting, yes.
That's been limited for quite a long time now, and they were saying that it's never been they have done it before, but it's been longer this time, which is now having an effect on people's wages.
Right, okay, that's interesting.
So that what they were saying was people are losing out.
Yes.
By this.
Yes, I have heard of this, yes.
That if you go into the 50,000, you then immediately go into the 40%.
The higher tax band, yes.
Tax bracket.
Yes.
So the people were ringing in about it and saying how they felt.
Okay.
And one man was saying that he had gone into this tax bracket.
Okay.
And obviously that meant he would be losing money. Because not only was he losing money on his wages by going up to 40%.
Yes.
He was also losing money in goods going up and services going up because they're all being taxed higher.
Right.
So he thought he was being doubly taxed because he'd only just gone into the 50 limit with his rise, his 50,000.
Right, okay.
So what he said he did was he took two weeks holiday.
Okay.
Unpaid.
Ah.
And that took him just below.
Okay.
So he didn't have to start paying it.
Yes.
And somebody else was saying that they themselves had reduced their hours so they wouldn't have to pay it.
Okay.
So they were still getting just under. So maybe they'd reduce their wages to say 49,000 instead of 50.
So people are limiting themselves.
So they're limiting themselves. So what I'm thinking
on
is...
purpose as well.
On purpose, yeah.
Yes.
And I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, if we do that in life, every one of us, would we progress?
That's interesting. Are you talking about financial progress or everything?
In everything in life, really, as if we limit ourselves in life especially because of money.
Yes.
Would there be no progress? I understand, because I honestly will say that if I went into that 50 bracket just because I'd had a rise...
You'd feel a little bit hard done by.
No, I'd feel very hard done. I won't feel a little bit.
Okay, extremely hard done by then.
Extremely hard done by. If I was in business, I wouldn't feel like that because I was building up my business.
Yes.
So that was my choice.
Yes.
My choice would be to build up my business. So I would either take a loss or a profit.
Right.
So I wouldn't feel that way.
Okay.
But if it was my wages and my annual increase,
it's
not
almost
my fault.
It's almost like you are being punished is a strong word, but more is being taken from being successful.
Yes.
That's one way of viewing it.
Yes.
There are other ways of viewing it that are equally important. It does feel like people are avoiding paying more tax, or at least earning more money because of the higher tax band, which is what you're saying. So how do you feel then? You raised the question.
How do I feel? I feel
about progress being hampered generally, or even stopped, because people are limiting themselves. And this is happening financially and maybe in other ways as well. Yes. I'm sensing that's what you mean, if that's correct. Yes. So how do you feel about it?
I feel that we're at a stage in this country now, where there's no incentive being given for people to really work hard. Because to work hard unless you have that mindset, I have a mindset of working hard.
Right.
I'm from a family who have always worked very hard.
Okay.
But enjoy it.
Yes.
We enjoy work.
Okay.
I think that what's happened is that the majority, and I think it is the majority of people now, go to work and think to themselves, I'm going to work and I'm working this hard and I'm doing this and I'm not getting paid enough money. And, my employer is not looking after me. I think that we need to turn that around, because I would always say that my employers in my life
Yes.
have paid my mortgage.
Right. Okay.
They've also put food on my table.
Yes.
It's not the other way around. And I've never thought it was the other way around. I'm not doing them a favour. They're giving me a job so that I can put food in my children's mouths.
Yes.
Now, I would always hope an employer would be fair. But I think now it's changing, is that we all have high expectations in life. People have high expectations of what they deserve.
Yes.
So it's difficult for me, because I understand the tariff thing, the thing with the wages. I understand with the 50,000
Taxation.
but I also think that we should be taxed. And I think if we're avoiding tax, we're also not helping this country. If we avoid tax,
Yes.
we're not paying enough in. I think.
So you feel the whole
system is wrong.
The whole system needs review
Yeah.
and reform.
Yes.
A big change.
And I think what you were
Wholesale change.
saying, you have talked about this quite a few times,
Right.
is of a taxation, very small taxation really,
Yes.
on all people.
Yes. Yes.
So if you could explain that.
Yes, as best I can. The current... Thanks for that. Yeah. I'm not against outlaying some new ideas at all. It's contextual. What I mean by that is the current climate probably isn't, and I mean the probably isn't necessary, it isn't conducive to the leap that I feel
Yes.
would be better.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that we can't have on the horizon a view, a vision. I feel that moving forwards, hopefully soon, but certainly in the future, people should be paying very little tax. And I am an advocate for a contribution. I wouldn't even necessitate it being called a tax, although it would serve the same purpose. I think similar to how you flipped around your relationship with your employer,
Yes.
and your employer providing, in your words, food for your children on
Yes.
your
Table,
table. Yes, that's how you put it. The mindset that we contribute, and we do that voluntarily, we do that willingly, and we do that openly. So we contribute. So
Yes.
taxation really, in the way that it's conduced, in the way that it is constructed,
Yes.
is a feeling that it's taken from you.
Yes.
I would like, in mindset and in attitude, and therefore then in behaviour, moving forwards, to change that we willingly contribute. And we do this because we have shared services, and we have shared spaces, and we have shared necessary systems of people and of services and of goods, of health, of education, all of the things that people care about, that are common to us all, that we, in general and in principle and in essence, would agree, pretty much everybody would agree upon wanting to contribute to. So I suppose in simple language, a flat tax.
Yes.
But I would be framing it, and this is based upon society would be different and people's mindsets would be different.
Yes.
The way people think now and the way that life is now, I don't think it would fit. I think the idea would be misinterpreted and people would push against it for the wrong reasons. I hope that I could be pleasantly surprised. But I am an advocate and see a voluntary contribution of around 10% of all monies earned by everybody. And we simplify our contributory system, our taxation system, to the most simple system possible. That it's 10%. So there are no thresholds, there are no allowances, it's 10%. It's 10% of whatever you earn.
Which is fair to everybody.
It's fairer. It isn't necessarily fair. It actually means that people that are on lower income will pay a higher percentage in terms of money than people that are earning lots of money. But the system would be supported by, and remember, this is about an attitude change and a societal change in the future, and I hope in the near future, that there are clear pathways of progression and earning potential moves very, very quickly moving forwards. So I would offset that by recognising that the 10% contribution taxation would be in place for everybody, that we would have a higher threshold, therefore, of what we would call the living wage, the minimum wage. So that would be a much, much higher starting point. But I would also be an advocate, I am also an advocate, and I am today, for having a maximum income. I think that we should implement and choose as a society to accept a maximum income and do this willingly. Arbitrarily, and I am not limiting it to this number, it is purely just for giving people a way of mentally processing it and hopefully having a level of comprehension. But something like £25 million per year. Now, you've laughed.
Limiting it. I know I'm laughing.
You're laughing, yes.
I am laughing. But
so, to the average person, to the average million people,
it wouldn't make any
it
difference.
wouldn't make one jot of difference. But there are people who are earning hundreds of millions, billions of pounds per year. Now, I feel that this would make a huge difference to our system. So each individual can earn up to £25 million per year, not a one-off in your lifetime, per year. So in 2 years, 50 million, 3 years, 75 million. Every year it resets. So it's, as far as I'm concerned, it isn't limiting really at all. At 10%, £25 million per annum would be taxed at 10%. The same as if you earned £250,000 or £150,000 or £50,000. Everything earned above and beyond 25 million in terms of income would go towards the central contributory fund. We could call that our taxation system if we want, but we'll be going towards the central fund. Now, salaries that are set by companies wouldn't exceed 25 million because obviously it would be a redundant thing to do. However, based upon a mindset change and an attitude change to society, if you ran a business, Anne, I have no doubt whatsoever, or even, let's say, when you run a business, Anne, you would be extremely successful. And there are lots of people out there, fantastic entrepreneurs, who earn hundreds of millions of pounds per year. And we encourage that. I encourage it. And they can take a personal, based upon this idea, would be able to take a personal income per annum of 25 million. Again, that's an arbitrary figure, and it's just taken to offset against a minimum wage. It could be different, and it possibly, when looking at all the calculations, may need to be different, higher or lower, maybe even higher, to be honest with you. What would be the incentive for a business to generate more money? Well, it contributes to society. So a business.
So we also would be changing the consciousness.
Yes,
where the human race.
Absolutely.
Where they would be
so people,
glad to do that.
Yes, where people, because they're not poor.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So it's a change of
people
consciousness.
People aren't poor. So if you're on a lower income, you can't turn around to the people that are millionaires that maybe have made 25 million pounds per annum based on the system.
Employed all of them
absolutely
as well and given them
and they may have 500 million in the bank because they've made for decades 25 million a year. For decades. So they've got astronomical wealth in
Yes.
comparison to the average person. However, they know that the hospitals and the schools are heavily supported by the success of our entrepreneurs. Therefore, we have quality hospitals and schools. We have clean public spaces, safe public spaces. We have well-paid public servant jobs, really well-paid, with really strong benefits.
Yes.
We know that those that want to be entrepreneurial deserve to be rewarded.
Yes.
People that take risks, people that unlock wealth in our society should be rewarded greatly. I'm a huge advocate for the entrepreneurial spirit and for people who have a dream and an idea to go and share it with the world. And I would always underpin that with a real sense of inspiration and for the greater good. Of course, now what that means to people can be different. But people that want to serve the public in what could be perceived to be an everyday job,
Yes.
they're the heroes.
Yes.
And they should be rewarded and secure in their work and earning potential that progresses as they progress. This is not a full safe plan, and we are not in a position to implement it, and it's an idea. And I'm open to ideas, and my ideas may change. But based on what I can view and listening and how I feel, something like this needs to come in, where we lower taxes for everybody, but we also are drawing more of the wealth, more of the abundance generated as a people into our systems that support our systems and generate more wealth for more people. But we prioritise our services. And we do it willingly.
Yes.
And people who are earning lots of money say, this is fantastic. I couldn't spend £25 million every year if I tried. So this is fantastic because it means that I'm happy to earn £25 million every year.
Yes.
And earn more money, employ more people, and make our country magnificent. A great country, yes.
Following that is another thing that this brought to mind, because obviously it sets a thought process, doesn't it? Anything that you hear like this.
Yes.
And when my dad came back from the war, he went working back at English Steel. So he worked at English Steel for quite a few years before they got a pub. Because they were entrepreneurs, you know, they're from this very, very poor background.
Yes.
And my mother, not my father, was very much an entrepreneur. As I've said before, she had her illegal bookies ready for him when he came out of the army. But he went back to English Steel.
Yes.
And he used to work quite long hours. But he used to do, then they didn't do all the shifts that they do now, obviously. They were working from 7 o'clock in the morning, sometimes till 7 o'clock at night, 12-hour days.
Yes.
But that was by choice. That was 2 days a week. Everybody works set hours. There were set holidays. You had a wet week and everybody had 2 weeks off, the last week in July and the first week in August. That was everybody's working life.
Yes.
And then when he needed everybody, we were building up this country. This is what we have to remember is
Yes.
the atmosphere then was completely different.
Yes.
It didn't matter about what you were paying in tax to a degree. Everybody was working so hard to get this country back on its feet. We didn't mind not earning so much money because we were all working with each other to get England back on its feet again. But the English Steel, they used to do 2 nights a week. They could do overtime. So only 2 nights a week, they could work till 7 o'clock. So I'd normally say they would finish at 5, they'd do 2 hours. So that would be 4 hours a week overtime.
Yes.
And they would get time and a half for that. They would work, so they get time and a half money.
Yes.
On a Saturday morning, they had an option to work Saturday morning where they got double time.
Yes.
For working Saturday morning. None of that was taxed. The overtime wasn't taxed.
Yes.
So it gave them the incentive to work extra hours because it wasn't taxed.
Okay.
So there are certain other incentives that
Absolutely,
we can
yes.
give people until we can get to the stage that you're at. Whereas now, like this gentleman who's taking 2 weeks because he doesn't want to pay the tax, is taking 2 weeks holiday with nothing. But that's not doing anything for the country.
No.
So that's the way I was looking at it.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah. So
I suppose I can see the holes in what I'm saying.
Yes.
Based upon the way that it's currently constructed.
No, it's really good.
And the financial hole that is there. So this is an ideal that's based upon almost imaginary situations. But I do feel it's important to have a horizon that we can look up to and move towards. And I see this as economic freedom, but with a clear cooperative socialist heart.
Yes.
And looking at the merger of two ways of thinking that can mutually be beneficial. In fact, are like a lock and a key.
Yeah.
And again, that's a hugely idealistic, romantic way of looking at it. But I do see the huge potential in that. That, like you said, we need people to take the risk.
Yes.
And people need to be rewarded for taking that risk. But we need people to be secure and feel confident and comfortable and safe in their employment and not feel that their life's hard work is not properly rewarded. And we also want people to be able to progress and be rewarded for that progression if they choose to. So we have to have, in a sense, a multifaceted system with multifaceted ways of doing things to unlock all the different natures of different types of people.
And when you say rewarded, I hear many people, listening to people talk, and my husband worked for Shell.
Yes.
For 30 years.
Right.
Worked with them for 30 years.
Yes.
Retired and got a good pension. He got a good pension when he retired.
Right.
He paid into it, but he did come out with it. He took redundancy and got a good pension.
Right, okay.
He died 19 years ago.
Okay.
Now I hear so many people calling Shell what a bad company it is, and they do this with oil, and they're doing this, and they're doing wrong, and things they shouldn't be doing, and I hear that all the time. People talking about Shell itself.
Okay.
He died 19 years ago, and for 19 years, I've had a pension off Shell. Every year, a representative from Shell rings me to see if I'm all right, and if I need anything, or I need any advice. And yesterday, I got a call. He's called Nigel.
Okay.
And I got a call from Nigel saying, "Hello, Anne, how are you? It's my yearly call to check that you're okay."
So this is a gentleman calling you from Shell?
He's retired as well. So we have people who have already worked at Shell, who are retired, and they keep an eye on everybody else. And I can ring at any time I like with a problem, which is wonderful when you think after 19 years, these people are still looking after me. When I was speaking to him, yesterday, and he just said, "Have you got any holidays coming up?"
Right.
And I said, "Yes, we're going." I said, we're just been to Scarborough. I said, "But we are booked to go to India." So he said, "Have you been?" So I said, "No." And he was telling me that he went there on business many years ago because he was in the garment trade, in that trade. Clothing, yes, clothing.
Yes.
And he went with his boss to the factories there to look at the factories where they were making things.
Right.
And I was talking to him, and he said to me, "It's absolutely wonderful. It's such a wonderful place to go to." He said, "There's so much poverty, but you shouldn't be looking at poverty. You should be looking at attitude of the people." This is what I found so interesting.
I was just going to say that's very, very interesting.
And he said, "You should be looking at attitude of the people." So I said, "What do you mean?" So he said, "They're so poor, some of them, they look poor, and it is slums." He said, "But when you talk to them, they're so happy." He said, "They really are happy people." He said, "When you say to them, 'But you're living like this,' and they say, 'Well, I'm living like this in this life. When I go to another life, I'll have a better life, won't I?'"
Right, okay.
So that's the way he was saying that's
Yes.
the way they looked at life.
Yes.
Is this might be your lot for this life, but in their beliefs, they're going to come back again, and their next life will be different.
So
Life is an experience.
Their culture
Is
underpinned by a certain spiritual viewpoint.
Yes.
That's more than the physical. That's led them, based upon Nigel's sharing of his experience. I haven't been yet, going later this year.
Yeah. And that got me...
It is very, very interesting.
It is interesting. Then it got us talking about...
Thank you, Nigel.
About the Commonwealth.
Right, okay.
So we started talking about the Commonwealth and the trade between this country and India.
Yes.
When they were a Commonwealth country. And I was saying, but we had the best cotton ever. I said, we bought our cotton from from India.
Right.
And then we made up the garments. And that's what the trade he was in that he was talking about. And he said it's still the best in the world.
Indian cotton.
Indian cotton is still the best in the world.
Right.
And their products are still the best in the world. But this is his words, not mine, by the way.
Yeah, right.
And he said, but if you want cheap, and it's always been cheap, you go to China.
Okay.
So even within the industries, they recognise what is good quality and what is cheap quality. But he said the quality, he said you might buy cheap, but the quality of material is very, very important.
Yes.
So he said you'd still prefer to go on cotton sheets. He said you can tell them how many threads to put in. So he said, so his experience there was wonderful.
It is interesting.
So I could speak to somebody else. I have spoken to somebody else who says, oh, it's a real slum and it's really dirty.
Yes.
Our attitude to life, isn't it?
It is. It's so interesting, isn't it? I mean, there's so much in what you said. We're coming towards the end.
I know.
How fast has this morning gone?
It's gone really fast.
I do think we'll probably be able to, if you'd like to, pick up upon a number of these points, certainly the ones that you're ending on, and expand on them in the podcasts in the weeks and months to come.
Yes.
It's interesting, just, we're not necessarily to open it up fully, but we've often spoken about the revival of being more self-sufficient as an island and as a people, and not just the United Kingdom and Great Britain and the British Isles, but all countries looking to be resourceful and to grow and cultivate and to work together in a cooperative nature across the world, and that sense of being much more independent and self-sufficient before... As
the Commonwealth was, in a way.
Yes, but also... You've already highlighted maybe one of the benefits of globalisation, which is interesting, which is the sharing of quality products.
Yes.
People might not all see it that way, but in potential, yes. And the best products being shared around the world. So maybe there is, again, in the spirit of fusion and working together and synergising ideas and concepts and philosophies and ways of doing things in general. Maybe certain aspects of our lives can be as part of a global market, and other aspects are much more local, and cottage industries, for instance. I do feel, to wrap it up from my side, that I do want to be clear that I am more than huge, positively, absolutely an advocate for a cooperative, communal, socialistic, in spirit, hard-working, faith-based, conscience-led, moral people that work together for the collective good and are of an open mind and an open heart, where freedom of idea and freedom of expression and freedom of self-determination, to the greatest possible extent that is fair in any given moment, is open to everybody, and equal opportunity, and where idea can be shared freely and arguments and debates can take place. So as open a society as possible, but heart-centred, conscience-led. So absolutely a community, a cooperative, a unity, a vision of a society that works together, not necessarily in the visions of what some may see socialism as. I'm not necessarily saying I'm against anything like that. Something new, something that is open, full of possibility, full of excitement, full of hope, full of glory. And isn't this land, this England, is it not the land of hope and glory?
Absolutely.
Is this not our land? So this is our vision. This is ours. So we can manifest this together. We can create this. We can build this. We can grow this. And we can share this hope and this glory with the world.
Yes.
And that is something to lift our heads up for. That is a horizon to aim for. That is absolutely idealistic. But let's go for it. Let's go for it.
It's not idealistic. It's real.
Yes, and let's make it real now. Let's work for that now. And let's all pull in the same direction for that now.
Good.
Okay, Anne.
Right.
Well, that's a rousing, patriotic way to end our podcast. Yes. Well, thank you for listening as always. And we look forward to being with you and speaking with you again next week, next Sunday.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Goodbye. Bye-bye.